जयपुर वाया कोटा।
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत.
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೈ
Hyderabad Punjab Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दियो.
Well, Hyderabad was looking for that treat, but Prerak, Pooran and Stoinis were the elaichi in their biryani. Almost a great win for Lucknow. 4 of 6 needed. Welcome back to Cricbuzz Live. I'm Saiyami. I have Joy and Lisa with me. Joy, firstly, has Prerak restored faith in you?
Absolutely. He has totally restored faith in me. He was batting on 21 of 20 balls and I was questioning why they put him in at number 3 when there were so many good international players to follow. Well, he's done really well after that. He's anchored them, scored at a strike rate of about 145, held that innings together. And I think one of the things that they have shown very clearly is why they're batting Pooran and Stoinis where they are.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very interesting one because in my opinion, what they've allowed, what I was just looking back at last year before this where Pooran was and in Punjab and what was his problem. And he was batting at 3 on 4. And I think what was happening there was he was coming in and expected to think and review the situation.
Yeah.
And I think that was his problem. What's happened now is that they're just telling him, go in there and smash the ball no matter when. We'll send you in when it's time to smash the ball. You just smash the ball. And it's worked beautifully for them.
Lisa, 64 or 45 is what Prerak's batting on. So he, like Joy said, actually in the comm box he spoke about it and Joy was not very happy with the strike rate, but obviously he's redeemed himself. Somebody who's been a fan of Virat Kohli, a fan of Mahendra Singh Dhoni, they'll be both very proud to see what the boy's done.
Yeah, it's all about learning from your opportunities and trying to get better every chance you can. And that's what he's done. He's probably taken a bit of time to kind of go, okay, this is the IPL, this is the expectation, okay, first few games, this is how I cope with the pressure. And then he's got some really key people around him, key internationals, in Quinton de Kock, Marcus Stoinis. Hopefully they're sharing their wisdom of how they kind of build an innings and what they need him to do for them to do well. That's the other thing. A partnership is about being able to get the best out of the person at the other end as well. So no doubt he has enabled the big hitters to play their natural game because he's been the one that's still been able to rotate the strike, but still at a strike rate of 140 plus, which is what is expected when you come to the IPL.
Yeah, well, they have won the game. The last time the three of us were here together, it was a nail biter. This one, not so much. So, comfortable win for Lucknow, a win that they, needed to keep their dreams alive to go into the playoffs. Another person, we spoke about Prerak, but even Pooran, with somebody who's got, I think, a 44 of 13 is what he scored, just comes and does 338 is that strike rate, Joy.
No, absolutely. I think they were absolutely stunning in the way he batted. I think his mind is, as we were speaking now, his mind is clear. He's told you go in and you start smashing the ball. You see the ball, you smash it. And if you see the way he bats, he's not just a slogger of the ball. He hits 2 sixes there and then he hits these beautiful cuts, just pierces the boundary, great timing, great placement. So he's got all the shots in the book and they've used him like a weapon. And the last time against Bangalore, again, exactly the same script. Stoinis comes and gives them a base, starts hitting. When Stoinis goes off, Pooran comes in and finishes it for them. And I think winning 2 matches with the bat the way he has, and though there are many performers for Lucknow and Prerak's got 65 odd, I'd still say the difference was that, 44 in 10 balls, 13 balls.
Well, de Kock didn't fire today, but the decoction later on was great because the 3 of them fired. So Stoinis, like Joy said, he set it up for them.
Yeah.
And he did it again because he got those 40 runs which were crucial at that time where things had to change and he, has delivered again.
Yeah, I've always felt that Stoinis is the type of player that needs to actually bat up the top of the order. He does for the Melbourne Stars. He opens the batting, which allows him that 15, 20 balls to almost go, a strike rate of 115 plus, nothing extravagant, but he gets a feel for the conditions. And then, because of who he is, the Hulk, his long levers, once he gets used to the conditions, then, the straight sixes that he hits is a nightmare for bowlers. And what you look at the Abhishek Sharma's over, he was the one that hit the 2 sixes
Yeah.
and got it going. He got out, yes, and then Pooran comes off and picks up 3 sixes. So between the two of them, they're a wonderful dynamo, and I'm glad that they've kind of ensured that, hang on, no, we want Stoinis up and Pooran down, not the other way around, because like you said, Joy, it's almost, it's an interesting point, moving forward for IPL sides. How much money do you spend on a guy who only faced 15 deliveries? Like, should they be getting the most amount of money, or should they be getting an average amount, or are your top 3 batters still your big spenders? It poses an interesting question as the game keeps evolving, because of the new rules as well, impact players. Who's your most valuable player?
I totally agree. And what Pooran has done today is just done, they've demonstrated that you can allow the run rate to go up to 13, 14, 15.
Yeah.
They were 40 runs behind in the 12th over. And by the 17th over, they've caught up and gone ahead. And I think that's the power that you get in that over. But then again, the one question you have to ask is, what was Abhishek Sharma doing bowling that 16th over?
Yeah.
Well, we'll have this discussion at a lengthier stage at the post-match show. We'll have a look at the points table quickly. Joy, numbers again. Hyderabad out mathematically. Are they still in, or we can say they're ruled?
No, Hyderabad is out now. 4 and 7 will not get you, because the maximum they can get to is 14 points. 14 points now probably can't do it, because Lucknow is in 13. So 15 now is probably the least that you can do to qualify. But it's still tight for the rest of them. But I would say that it's curtains for Hyderabad right now.
And Lucknow, Lisa is going to be sitting happy there, because obviously this was a do or die for them. But they're just a little more comfortable even with the net run rate.
Also what happens with that, the only people they have to bother about run rate with is Chennai.
Correct.
Nobody else. They are on odd points. So if you're on odd points, run rate will not come into the picture. So if they get to 15, then it's between them and Chennai. Both of them are stuck on 15 and there are 3 teams above them, which is very unlikely. Then that's a point comes in there. But otherwise, you have to say that Lucknow is, because of that one rain-affected game, Lucknow is less affected by the run rate than all the other teams in that category.
All right, it's a double-header day, so I just feel like there's so much we have to cramp in such little time. So we will discuss this game a little more later, but we have to move our attention and focus on the next game, because Delhi take on Punjab. We will know the answer to our one question is the Lucknowi biryani has won today. We'll have a look at the chole bhature now, because Delhi take on Punjab. And again, for Delhi,
there are no more bhatures left, because Amit Mishra just had them after he got off the ground.
Is that why he couldn't chase that ball? Oh, right.
That is the one thing I've never seen in a cricket field, which is one fielder running stately, graciously, and suddenly one fielder going past it.
Well, he can enjoy those chole bhature, Amit Mishra, because, well, Lucknow won. But we'll have a look at the teams. Delhi's won the toss. They've decided to bowl first. Mukesh Kumar, Praveen Dubey in. This is their starting 11. Of course, we will get that sub in the second innings. Any surprise there, Joy? They've gone ahead again with all those overseas players as their batters.
No, absolutely. This is the same formula they're now following. One spinner, Praveen is a spinner, so they basically got Khalil, Ishant, Mukesh going up front with them with the bowling. With the fast bowling, then you have Kuldeep, Aksar and Praveen Dubey at the back. Same, and depending, Mitch Marsh, of course, is going to come in and bowl for them as well. So it's not a bad bowling attack. It's obviously predominantly an Indian bowling attack, but I think Mitch Marsh has done more for them with the bowling this year than he's probably done in any edition of the IPL I've seen. This is a decent bowling attack, a really good spin bowling attack because of those two. But otherwise, a decent attack. Ishant is getting a bit of a resurgence. Mitch Marsh is bowling well. Khalil is bowling okay. But again, not a frightening bowling attack, if you know what I mean. It's not. This is not, say, a Shami and, up front Joshua Little or Nalzari Joseph. I mean, Ishant and Mitch Marsh and Khalil Ahmed, they're serviceable, as you would say.
I think also the fact that Delhi is a ground that hasn't been a high-scoring ground. It's more for the spinners. So when you look at that, when you're trying to match your bowlers to extract the advantage out of the pitch, it is going to be maybe death by spin or cutters or guys that will just change things up a little bit. So in that sense, potentially, they've got two of the best spinners going around Delhi, so they're going to have to really fire again for them to create 2 points. But I guess we'll wait and see.
But Lisa, you think, now that they have nothing to lose, it's almost like we'll just go out there and just play party poopers for the rest of them. That's what Delhi is going to do, right?
Well, I can tell you as an Australian and knowing the Australians in that camp, it's like, well, if we can't make it, we're going to make it bloody hard for anyone else.
We go down, you come down with us.
Yeah, we're going to take a few with us. And also, I mean, you look at Praveen Dubey, he's playing his first game. So it's a chance actually for them just to rotate a few of their players. So as they move forward for next season, they go, well, who do we want to keep? Who do we need to kind of cast aside? So there can be a lot of lessons that they can take from these last few games. But the Aussies within the camp, and no doubt I'm sure there's a few Indians as well that think the same mentality. Let's take a few with us.
All right, then let's have a look at Punjab's playing 11. This is the batting 11, of course. Sikandar Raza comes in and Rajapaksha is out. This was something which, well, there was a lot of debate over if Rajapaksha should get a game or not.
Yeah, two things. One is Rajapaksa didn't look fit, I mean, I think this is the one place that they've really messed up. Rajapaksa, Sikandar Raza, they've neither played enough of them to give either of them the confidence of where they are. And, you know, I feel Rabada, again, like Quinton de Kock, player, the quality of Rabada just sitting. If he's not injured, Rabada walks into any 11. He's been he's been orange. Is it orange or purple? I keep confusing. Purple cap holder. He's been a purple cap holder for so long. And, that's the one problem that they have. My thing is that I believe they've gone in for Raza because they believe that he could be useful to the ball as well a bit later.
Yeah. Well, I think they have gone ahead with just 3, if you can see the list again. But Rabada is not in the sub list. So it's clearly
Nathan
Ellis.
Nathan Ellis.
Yeah.
Then, yes.
So it will be Nathan Ellis who comes in. So it has to be injury, right?
For Rabada?
Yeah.
Does it? I don't know. I
he's
feel
not even in the sub list.
No, I feel like they're really happy with Nathan Ellis and what he's providing them. Yeah, he's been able to bowl at the death. He has his little cutters. He has all of those little tricks. I mean, he hasn't done well with the bat, so don't even bother with him there. Let's just use him for that. And he's learnt his skill at Hobart Hurricanes now with the Australian team, now here. Just a very specific role. You only use them at the back end, and I think they like that because that gives them the better balance. Whereas Rabada is like, do you give him the new ball? Yeah. Well, we know he can bowl at the death, so it kind of messes our bowling order up a bit.
Well, with Punjab, there's you were talking about in the green room where you want Livingston to go and get that one big knock. You know, we've missed that. He's got that 82, I think, which he got versus Mumbai, but we've not seen that, that big knock from Livingston, which is missing.
Yeah, he got going once again. You see that strike rate 163, it's there. But 172 runs, of course, he hasn't played that much. Lancashire, he had this whole NOC problem when he came. And if you see the players, most of the players who've started their season as, disruptive season, it doesn't allow you to settle in because you come in when the team is already set. You're trying to play your way into the team. You're not in sync with the rest of the team. It's not so easy to pick up and, get it going. So he's a very important player to them. And for him, again, he does everything. He's a decent fielder. He bowls what Sachin used to do, right arm everything,
Whatever you need, I'll do it.
Seam up, leg spin, off spin, everything he does. So that's the point. He gives you everything. Again, 100% player. But today, basically, also, he's good against spin. They really need him and Raza to take down the spinners. Of course, Shikhar Dhawan is there up front and he's also an excellent player of spin. But that's the real battle will be battling Delhi spinners on this pitch.
Lisa, Livingston's spoken about how he wants to be the best power hitter. We've spoken about this earlier on the show. But in one of his recent interviews, he said that there's been so much discussion over the sheet anchor role in T20 cricket and how it doesn't exist anymore. And he said he doesn't quite agree because he feels that every team has one particular person which is given a particular role.
Right.
So he's someone who's still defending the anchor's role.
There is an element, and we saw it in the last game, wasn't there? There was an anchor. Munkad was the anchor, and then you had the fire para around. To a certain degree, I think as the pitches get a little bit slower and lower, and we're seeing scores of 160, 170, 180, I think there's still a role for an anchor. But when we're seeing scores of over 200, you can't have someone going at 120 strike rate. It's just not good enough. So you have to have everyone going at 140. So that means you can't have someone just sitting there rotating the strike and feeding you the strike because you're going to be the power hitter today. Everyone has to go and find those boundaries. So I think it's still situational.
Okay.
Yeah, and absolutely. And again, Mankad, you're talking about Mankad today. Mankad went at 145. So it's not. You don't say anchors. Normally you think of these 120s. Mankad went at 145 as well.
Yeah. There is someone else which is going to be a little, well, harsh to say what I'm saying, but I'm just repeating what Simon said. This was his opinion. So it's not me, guys. It's not me. Apparently, Simon said that, you know, the way they dropped Harry Brook, even though it was a tough call, he's just not been performing. Sam Curran maybe could be rested for a few games because he's just not come to the party.
Yeah, look, the point of it is, the reason why they're not probably dropping Sam Curran is because if you have to drop Sam Curran, he bats also down the order for them. He bowls up front, he bowls at the end for them also. So to replace Sam Curran, they need a lot of players, even though he's not performing. That's the reason. If he had just been a batsman like Harry Brooks, because though Harry Brooks bowled a bit of off-spin, that's not why he's in the team. So to replace Mankad, you're changing to replace Curran, you're changing the entire composition of your side. I think that's why they'll persist with him until a point where they're knocked out of the tournament, after which perhaps they could look at it in a different way. But of course, he's not given them the most... See, an expensive player tag is a very difficult tag to carry. We've seen it in the past. And especially, most expensive player for Punjab is like, you're like writing a sentence on your head, because the last 4 have been replaced after 1 year.
Quite a stat there.
Oh, that's a joy factor question. But
No, too simple. Simple.
But the other thing as well to keep in mind, the difference I think between Harry Brooks and Sam Curran is Harry Brooks is this young guy who's had an amazing little period, and it's been predominantly really Test cricket. Hasn't necessarily been T20 cricket. Whereas Sam Curran has actually been tried and tested over a number of years at international and franchise cricket. So there is always a feeling around coaching staff and the group within that this he's going to come good.
He's done
Surely he's going to come good next game. Whereas a Harry Brooks, you're still kind of, I know he's young, he's going to give us a couple of little bright innings and then maybe nothing, and you accept that. But a Sam Curran, you expect him to kind of turn the table. But it has been a while, based on the graphic that we just put up, that he has been leaking a lot of runs, and that's certainly not like him. I mean, over 11 runs per over is not what you want for someone of his calibre as well.
I was just thinking again, I go back to the same story that it's just so amazing. Mitch Marsh on one side, Harry Brook, Sam Curran on the other. Sam Curran and his brother stayed with the Marshes for 3 years of their life.
Yes, I did. Over
in Zimbabwe. So literally a Mitch Marsh must have been, can you imagine little Sam Curran, 10 years, 12 years old, and Mitch Marsh must have been bowling to him. Come on, son, you can hit it hard. Yeah. And who is to know that 15 years later they'll be playing each other in the IPL? And what a completely amazing story.
Yeah, you know, Lisa, you said that Harry Brook is this young guy who's just played 12 months, and Sam Curran's been around for some time, but he's still a really young boy. Yeah. He looks like he's 14 still, so he's still a really young guy. And he has shown that caliber of coming back from, well, the downs of life, and through that injury that he's gone through, or even that, I don't know, was it a Mumbai game where that last over he really held it very tight. So he obviously has it all. It's just not happening. So, you know.
I think also, you know, he was thrown the captaincy for a few games as well, then taken it off. And, you know, sometimes as a player, when you are put into that role just as a gatekeeper, you go, well, how do I actually lead this side? Because I might have a different thought process than Shikhar Dhawan or even coaching staff. But you're actually just there as a caretaker. So do I keep playing the same way, the same sheet of how we do things as a team, or do I go off? And maybe that's, you know, it is hard to kind of take on all of that midway through the season when you know that you're only there for a few games and then the skipper will come back.
All right then, I am not going to start. Because, well, that's how it is. It's that time of the evening. I am not going to start. Lisa, you pick who goes first.
Joy can go first.
You pick who goes second as well.
Okay, 194.
No, did you win the last prediction?
No, I didn't.
No, you didn't.
Nobody.
No one.
Yeah, 30.
Yeah, 30. Nobody got close. I was closest, but that's hardly anything.
Yeah.
Hang on, who's batting again? I get confused.
Punjab's batting first.
I went for 194.
194?
Yeah.
Should I go second? So I'm not well targeted.
Charles Coventry.
194. Let's go 187. I'm not going to give you too much.
Yeah, okay.
194.
Squeezing up there.
194,
Jostling
187.
elbows.
I'm going to go with 179.
Okay.
Okay, you pick the number.
Yeah, I picked the number.
Yeah.
I'll stay with it. I'll stay with it.
She made it squeezed you so hard that you couldn't come in between.
I couldn't come in between. But to be fair and to be very honest, I was going to go with 182, but I said I'll go a little lower. So
Okay,
I'm going with
170
179.
170.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, then we will see. We will see if I get lucky, because that's the only thing that hasn't gone my way is luck on the prediction games. We'll wait and see. Lisa and Joy have some very delicious food waiting for them, because Lisa's taken over the mantle from Gaurav Kapoor and ordered food for everyone. So we will be going and eating some food, but you all don't forget to join us at the 10 over point at the Cricbuzz com box.
Jaipur via Kotla.
कृपया ध्यान आपको अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೇ ಚೆನ್ನೈ ತಿರುಚಿರಾಪಳ್ಳಿ
Hyderabad Superfast Express
পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন।
कृपया ध्यान दो